Righty-ho. We will hit that go live button. You are listening to Let's Go, the weekly anime podcast about weekly anime from Dynamite in the Brain and Secret of the Sailor Madness. So come along and hang with the Let's Go gang. It's Dwayne.
Hello.
There's no Niall. And it's me, Brian. And on this week's episode, we are talking all about the anime that aired the week of the 21st of December to the 27th of December 2020. And of which there was less than I was expecting, because turned out one of the other shows had also ended last week, and we didn't even know, due to the fact that it told us there was another episode coming.
Yeah.
Neglected to mention that episode's not coming till April, which is Moriarty the Patriot.
Yeah, I mean, like, it was just like, oh, we're just continuing on as usual. This wasn't like, this is this season over. It didn't feel like a big end. It's just like, further adventures down the line.
Down the line, yes. This is 24 episodes, but you're not getting all 24 in one run.
It's a rough year. I get it.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. I'm more than happy for people to split stuff up like that. I think it's... Yeah, I think absence makes the heart grow fonder.
I would say the worst of it, and this is hardly a complaint, is it's sort of left us a little lacking in shows this week.
That's all right, because we're going to have the opposite problem in 2 weeks' time.
I know. I mean, like, I would have preferred some of that bumped up to now so we could talk about it and have time to... But, you know,
I believe of these 5 we're talking about, 4 of them are carrying on, as far as I'm aware. Unless it's a short season of the very first thing we'll be talking about, Mr. Osomatsu, episode 11. What was the first story called? I neglected to write it down.
Oh, I meant to write it down and I did not.
The second story was called Pizza, and that's what Crunchyroll called it. What was the first half? Oh, the first half was back with our rice balls again, and they're still trying to figure out how to do She. And you're supposed to use it.
The lads just want to go to the new pachinko machines, but they meet. They're trying to advise them, and they're just like, they don't have an idea of like comedic timing, so they don't know when to do it when it's funny, because nothing shocks them because they're robots. He's like, you'll do it when something unexpected happens, and it's like, yeah, but like we're about to have a very serious conversation with Totoko in the park, so this is not an appropriate She. And it's like, well, it's weird for her to be serious. It's like, yeah, I know, but serious is not the time for that. Comedy's difficult to explain to a robot. Yeah.
Osomatsu's patience with them appears to have run out almost.
I mean, like, he's still taking them aside and talking them through it, but he is also bonking them on the head.
And his inner monologue about them is more and more furious at them. But yeah, it's they were after he tries to show them how to do it by doing something unexpected by stripping naked, and then they run into Totoko. Who's practicing dancing, and she wants them to do another assessment of her idol power, and they give her 100, and they're like, no, you're only doing that because she wants a serious assessment. She doesn't want you to...
You're giving her what she wants to hear. Yes. In this case, she wants to hear the truth.
So they get telling the truth, which makes her more and more furious. But she manages to evaporate her fury as essentially she puts one worse costume on after another.
I was really appreciative of the ancient sea animal costumes, because initially it was like, wait, is that a giant fucking sea scorpion? And then there was a trilobite, and I was like, oh, this is great. Good stuff.
And then she's got one last costume to try on, which is a cat girl costume. And they give her 1,000,000 points because cats, they've kept up their popularity in the internet age. They're always doing well. And I like the fact that this is like, oh, it's literally just the fish thing that they're judging her on. It's not her herself. It's the...
Yeah, it's just like there's no going and dressing as a wet fish.
But that's the thing.
I mean, like, if someone's into that, there's not many people into that.
That is the thing which genuinely makes her angry, is that them insulting fish.
And she restrained herself in each and every costume, but not so much with the fish. No, with the cat. Yeah.
And is it at this point they decided to go She?
Like the two guys do it, and then the
Yes.
robots are kind of like, and it's like fucking
Yes.
do it. But the guys get murdered. The robots are there mourning them at their graves, but they bust out of their graves
Yes.
naked and are disappointed by the lack of sheep.
Yes. That's it. Yeah, it's more stuff with the AI. The next episode's called AI, so I don't know if it's coming to a head
That makes me
next
worry because
episode.
like the first half of the episode, I was like, and then the second half was like, this is good. This is the good shit.
Yeah, the second half is just them doing personality assassinations on each other with.
Oh, but through the medium of like, what would you theoretically order off this menu of pizza?
Yeah.
The stipulation is we're ordering for all of us. You can order two because they're like a two for deal. That's it. And just them just destroying each other. And I could see Karamatsu hanging out in the background. I was like, oh, he's gonna have a good bit. They're just fucking saving that one in the barrel.
Yes, it is. So it's Ichimatsu and Tonomatsu are doing it to begin with, and then Choromatsu
Yeah.
walks in. Uh,
And everyone who walks in is kind of like, it's like, oh, we ordering pizza? It's like, no, we're theoretically ordering pizza. It's like, if you were to order pizza, what would you get?
yes, and Choromatsu will get the one which has two of the one which has four toppings, so we can all share it, and
You can get 8 different
everybody
toppings,
will get
and
something they
that's
like.
bound to please
Yes,
everyone.
and they just
Mm.
accuse him of being boring. Uh, and then Totti's thing is like, oh, I'll just have one pizza.
I'll have one pizza. I don't want I go with like a thin crust because I don't want the calories and I gotta I don't want to get a load of grease on my face and get all spots. And just like you think you're fucking popular, don't you? But you're not. You're pathetic. Ishimatsu
He's
is
just gonna have a
he's
cola.
like I don't want
I don't want a pizza.
I don't want whatever is fine. I don't care. I don't want pizza. And they're just like fucking. Oh, so you're gonna fucking attack us, but you're not gonna come at us. You're not gonna let us come at you, fucking coward. It's just like
Yeah. Why do you have why Choromatsu's like, why do you want cola? We've got tea at home, and then they have a go at Choromatsu again, and they all loop around, and then they hear somebody approaching, and they're fearful, and it's Jushimatsu, and they
he's been out. It's basically rainy day talk. Like it's raining
yes
outside. This is like a single room kind of situation, but it's really well set up. And he comes in absolutely fucking drenched, shakes himself off like a dog.
yes, and they're
It's good
like,
noise actually.
what? It was I went out, it suddenly started raining. They're like, what? It's been raining all day. Anyway, we're doing this. Oh, you're ordering pizza. No, it's a hypothetical thing. We're going to pick two, and we have to share it amongst all of us. What are you going to buy? He looks at it and he goes, Chinese. So they're like,
We get Chinese food. It's like, no, motherfucker, gotta go with the premise. And eventually they like berate him into going like, oh, okay, I guess I'll have this one and this one. It's like, you stupid idiot, you're supposed to order Chinese. And he's like, fucking.
yes, because their insult to him is that he's only funny because they've got them as the baseline for him to be measured against, and then they get mad at him for not being the wacky one and actually picking pizza the second time.
When he actually
Yes.
orders it was regular pizza. Yeah.
Then Osomatsu comes in, and he's just going to order two pizzas for himself.
No, he's initially going to order
Three
three
pizzas, then
and then they
four.
say, no, it's two pizzas. And it's like, oh, I'll order four then. Okay, two and two.
And they're just going to be ones for himself.
But he
Yes.
just picks what he likes and just assumes that everyone else will like what he likes because he has great taste. And everyone takes great umbrage to that. And like you say, it constantly switches. Like one of them will say something against him, and then that will be ammo for them to attack that one. It's very good. Very good
Yes.
character fucking with each other.
And then Karamatsu says he's going to the loo, and then as he's leaving, they ask him what he would pick, and he's like, "Oh, whatever's fine with you guys." And
But whatever makes you guys happy makes
it's a
me
carefully
happy.
picked answer that will not allow them to attack his personality, and then they attack his personality for him hiding his personality so well.
Yeah, it's just like fucking. You think you're better than us? Like what? That's not superior Matsu. What was it?
Exclusive
Something
Matsu,
like that.
yes,
Anyway,
exclusive Matsu.
exclusive Matsu. You think you're above us. And then basically he breaks it down. It's like, listen, you motherfuckers. I was fucking tactfully getting out of here. I didn't even need to take a piss. I was just fucking leaving. And just like destroys him to the point where they're just like, hey, sorry, buddy. Let's just stop right there. This is getting a little too real now. Like actively calling them all out.
And how does Toti end up throttling Osomatsu? and doing his totty face again.
Because Osomatsu said, like, they start doing general character assassinations after that, and he's like, "Oh, it must be easy to be the youngest, easy
But
to be the
that's it,
baby.
yes.
You've no worries." And Toddy doesn't
Oh,
take
that's
well to
that's
that,
that's what they
and
recorded.
no one
Yeah,
stops him
they
from
recorded
fucking him.
JUJUTSU a baby as well earlier, weren't they?
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
the other thing. Yeah, and then as Karamatsu's back reading his fashion magazine, Toti is throttling Osomatsu, and the rest of them are just arguing about how terrible being a sextuplet is, and what's the deal with sextuplets. One of you should go and have an identical sextuplets to that. One of you
One of you
should have
needs
had
to move
plastic
out. One
surgery
of
at
you
this
needs to
point.
go have
Yeah,
plastic
yeah.
surgery. It's just like that six is too many. If we were like two brothers, we could have two pizzas, and we'd both have so much fucking pizza each. And everyone's like, "Yeah, that'd be really good." It's like, God damn it.
Uh,
They have a problem with everything. It's really funny.
It is. It's a pretty good. It's your a bottle episode in a medium that does not need to do bottle episodes.
Yeah, I was even enjoying the shots where like the animation was kind of like the camera was down so that they barely had to animate any of them because most of them
Yes,
were obscured. And I was just like, you guys didn't have to do this, but
yes. It's not
I
quite.
mean like
It's not.
the strength of the writing and the characters and the acting is there.
It's
So
not quite the panty and stocking bottle episode. The one which is just the one fixed camera shot.
hmm. It does do some inventive stuff in that
Yeah.
single room that they have and shots of things in the room, that kind of thing.
Uh. Yeah. It's doing stuff that it's. I think this and the first story. The one thing I think it has in common,
Hmm.
which maybe is that it's having to develop stuff for characters that wasn't really there in the original material.
Yeah.
Um, and I quite enjoyed this episode, but as I was watching it, I was like, oh yeah, I really liked Tensai Bakabon more. I think because Tensai Bakabon had
Hmm.
its comedic characters were just like, okay, we'll take the comedic characters and the formula of the original comic and we'll just move it into modern times, which is, I assume, what they did with all the previous Tensai Bakabons as well.
Yeah, like it's basically like we don't need to explain that this policeman's a creep and like shooting people. It's just that it's like, okay, now let's put him on. He's trying to get like the not speed dating, the what do you call the group?
Yeah, yeah,
Like just change the more modern situation or have the dad comment on the fact that this is a van that people have sex in public
yes,
with, and it's like he doesn't really know what to do with it. It's just like, yeah, you're taking exactly, they were already set up as what they how they would react comedically and do the thing. Whereas this they've been kind of created as these personalities
yes.
from the first season
And the
of
ones who
Mr.
have got
Osomatsu.
their original comedic personalities are Ariami and Chibata and
Yeah.
the other characters, and I think it's their general absence this season is the thing I miss more than anything. Um,
And it's so weird because like a lot of the stuff with the AIs are to comment on the fact that why is this old comedy? Why is this character who's just like Joe and he has a flag in his head? What's his deal? Why is that still fucking funny? And it's like they're trying to make that commentary, but those characters are barely fucking present this
yeah,
season.
yeah.
So yeah,
I mean, it kind of works for me. As I say, the second bit. I mean, both bits worked. I'm not sure I'm on board 100% with what they're doing in the first bit.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and the second bit works more in isolation than it does uh, whatever this I did like they did the oh they're dead again and they weren't really actually put that in the ongoing story and then they
Hmm.
reversed it immediately to
No, weren't they killed the last time they tried to assess Toloko as
I
well?
can't remember.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Anyway, talking to people getting killed, Golden Kamuy episode 36 to live.
Man, I like because I'm not caught up or anything. I was so worried. It was just like the amount of people who could die in this situation is a lot. So I was worried that more were going to die than did.
Yeah, just the one if I remember correctly. Yeah, just Kiraranki.
Mm, yeah.
um yeah, so we open with like, a little bit of a flashback of over the season of Usurper thinking about Kiraranki, Sophia
Mm,
getting disconnected from everybody else due to the ice flow. We're cheated out of a fight apparently between Sophia and what's uh, the bare knuckle boxer character? His name?
Oh,
Ganshoku.
yeah, I can't think of
Is
his
that
name.
his name? Yeah, apparently they have a fight in the
That
comic.
sounds fucking cool. I want to see that. Another reason to fucking catch up on the comic.
Unfortunately, this is ahead of where Viz are with the comic.
Ah.
Viz are basically, I think the latest volume takes you up to the flashback at the photographer studio.
Oh, okay.
Though there may be stuff they haven't covered yet before that.
Yeah, the stuff that's been in the extras or stuff that they have, the whole characters that have been missing, that kind of thing. Yeah.
And then we go back to the Kiranki Koito fight.
I like how like small and brutal it is, you know?
Yes. And then they're discussing. He's lying out, and the other two guys are back, and they're discussing. He throws a bomb. Koito saves them from the bomb by slicing it in half. But there and then, and so we get the tragic scene of him.
Questions.
Yeah, of him unable to answer the questions because he's dying and he's just appears to be hallucinating, and just
kind of his life going between flashing before his eyes, and just him trying to make peace with it, like calling out to Sophia one last time.
Yeah, and he's repeating like the things he'd obviously planned in his head to say to her, which he has been saying to her over the season, to try and get her to unlock the thing.
And yeah, she admits to him, is like, yeah, I have like figured out something from what you did. And it's like, oh, excellent, that's good. You know, it's just like, well, my plan, everything's working out. My plan's going great, he says as he's bleeding out on the ice. And even when the guys were saying, it's like, don't go near him, he's a wounded beast, because obviously they had him dead to rights and he still fucking threw a grenade kind of thing. And I was kind of thinking that, but you have what's his fucking face? He's behind you, Brian.
Ogata, yeah.
You had Ogata right there, and I was like, that's the fucker you gotta watch. Don't fucking take your eyes off him. I was more concerned about that bastard, and I was right. I felt justified in that. But
he's a crazy
it was quite good with the Kiranki stuff, and it felt like, and even them doing this, like, we had such good times together, and basically going through all the scenes we'd seen the other guys in. It's like they went to the bathhouse, they got into the Stenka fights. You know, it's just like, they did all the fun stuff, and it's just like, because the thing with Kiranki is basically he got killed because he fucked over like everyone around him.
Yes,
but like, was he fighting for the right reasons? And like, yeah, I mean, like, probably.
Yeah, I think
definitely he feels justified in what
thought
he
was.
For.
Yes,
exactly. Yeah. I don't think he was a bad guy. It's just like he really fucked over like everyone, dude.
I like the bit with Sophia screaming into the ice flow so no one hears her.
Yeah. Again, like, I feel cheated that I didn't get to see that fight. That sounds sweet, but at least she got some like characterization in that regard as well. I assume she's going to continue to be an interesting character.
I did like the bit where Sugimoto and a surfer are running off, and they run into him. He's just
they were just like, there's some noise over there, let's go check it out. And it's like, it's this dude, he's just wrestling people on the ice for fun, and he's like, Sugimoto, you're here. And it's like, I didn't see nothing, let's get out of here.
But he does help them back. He helps the injured back.
Not only that, but obviously he can pair off with Svetlana, and they'll have many adventures. And I was like, fucking, you can't just fucking tease me with that.
Yeah,
that sounds great.
I don't know whether that gets returned to or whether that's a plan for a spin-off.
I'm fine with that. Svetlana trying to make enough money to bring her parents to Petersburg, and him just like fighting across Russia. Sounds good.
Yeah. And Tsukishima makes her write a letter to her parents that he can.
And that's such a nice bid for him as well, because obviously he's the one laid out nearly as bad as Ogata, but not quite as bad. I did like the way they put the cake on his face, and it's melting on his head because he can't fucking move because he's so badly injured. But like he kind of talks to her, and through talking to her, it's like, listen, I get why you wanted to fucking move away from that shitty place. He's intimately familiar with not liking where you were born. But you need to kind of do right by your parents and like send them the letter so they're not fucking trapped there as well. Because you kind of put them in that situation where they can't move because they're afraid they'll miss you if you ever come back. And she's like, yeah, no, I'll fucking send them a letter. I'll go to Petersburg. I'll make my fortune. And I'll make enough money to get them out of there too. And I was just like, okay, no, that's cool. That's good of them.
And then the second half is basically how can we get them treated by a doctor?
Hmm.
Well, they find a doctor. The doctor agrees to treat. He's basically like, yeah, if
Well, initially, like he's like, okay, we'll dress up as the locals,
yes,
because the Russians don't know the difference between the
Japanese and whichever tribe it is. This is the one which
yeah,
begins with N.
it's a different.
It's the one which begins with N, isn't it?
It's one of the other tribes. I don't think we've met the specific one, group before, but the indigenous folks.
Yeah,
Because I mean, like Aserpa is commenting on how they have similarities, but they're not quite the same.
yeah.
They've similarities in their cultures and that kind of thing because they all live off the
Yeah,
land.
I guess it's the seeing the world bit which ties back into the circus characters in thematically
Mm,
at
mm.
the start of the series.
Yeah. But like Sugimoto said, is like, okay, tell him this thing. And your man's like, hey, are you speaking Russian? Are you speaking Japanese? And he's like, well, I guess the fucking jig's up. Come with us or I'll shoot you. This is easier, actually, now that I think about it. We'll just kidnap the doctor.
Oh yes, talking to Russian, I'd
Um,
forgotten that reveal right at the end of the episode. Because that brings up
um,
so many more questions.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, so they bring the doctor in, but the doctor's like, yeah, I mean, like, this guy definitely isn't gonna survive the night unless I get him back to my surgery where I have better equipment. And Sugimoto's like, no, that's fine. I want to be the one to kill him. I gotta make sure he's okay so I can fucking kill him. um, he's just waiting for him to try something. And they're doing the surgery on him, and he fucking tries something. He tries to make his escape.
He does, and he tries to kill Koito, but other people disturb his attempts to kill Koito, and so he ends up knocking him out
Yeah,
instead.
the way Sugimoto like ran out the window, like Ogata making it look like he ran, but he's actually like hiding in the surgery, holding the nurse hostage, and saying it to Koito as well, like or saying it to the doctor, like, okay, knock him out, or I'll fucking shoot this nurse. Um, and like the thing of him is like, I have you and I could kill you, but then you can hear the guys outside looking for his
Yeah.
tracks. Your man going like, hey, are these Ogata's tracks? And it's just like, no, those are your tracks. It's just like, okay, they're stupid, but if I shoot him here, I'm just gonna get caught straight away. So survival is the way of it, and he takes a horse and fucking heads for the hills, mostly naked, it seems. But Sugimoto can't seem to hit him.
No, he says, "Come back, come back when you're healthy, so I can kill you." Or
Yeah,
rather, he thinks
with a
that's
big
because
smile on
he'd
his
be
face.
told
Very
off by
disturbing.
Serpa if he said it. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, the other thing we were cheated out of is, I believe, when Koito gets knocked out is the point at which his origin story takes place in the comic.
Oh. Hmm.
From what I understand, he gets knocked out, and then we get a flashback, which includes various characters who we've not met yet because there was another storyline taking place while this was happening in the comic. Uh,
Yeah, I can see why they didn't include it here because it would have like
They would have,
as it was like
yes,
all
they had to fit it into
the
12
big emotional
episodes.
stuff at the start of the episode and then doing this as the end. It didn't mess with the pace entirely, but that would have completely messed with it.
Yeah, it would be
Yeah.
weird because I think it's overlapping stuff to lead into the additional
Mm.
themes that will come up later. Yes, it'd be weird.
Right,
It'd
right.
be weird in a 12-episode season to suddenly start. Oh, let's start the themes that are about that in
So
the
yeah,
comic.
they could just have an episode that is the flashback without needing to prompt it by him getting knocked the fuck out with a butt of a
Which
gun.
they
Yeah.
might do, but the next OVA is the one is the bestiality arc that they can't put on TV.
Mm.
So I don't know whether there'd be another. There might be. There's been 4 OVAs and 3 seasons, so maybe they can get another. Because Shirayashi's backstory is in one of those OVAs.
Oh, okay.
But the other issue is that this introduces two more main characters. I guess I think they're still alive in the comic at the moment.
Hmm.
And they seem to, from what I was reading, seem to have a fairly large role to play. Um,
Okay.
it's the ever infinite members of the Seventh Division. Whenever they use more characters, just reveal more members of the Seventh Division you've not seen yet.
Well, I mean, like that,
That
and
and
the
the
fact that we have
convicts
a
are the
bunch
two.
more tattooed guys
Yes.
to find. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there's a not an infinite source of new characters, but a fairly deep well of new characters you can bring in.
Mm.
Um, yeah, so yeah, I know why they've cut it out. I just assume it's either going to be an OVA or will be the start of the next episode. I don't know whether we
Right.
see Koito awake after he's knocked out in this episode. I don't think we do. I think it's just a Serpa and Sugimoto from that point.
Yeah, I think you might be
Oh yeah,
right.
he's there in the background helping Tsukishima onto the sled.
Yeah, but he's not like doing
Yeah.
anything
So I guess
directly,
he
as
could
far as I'm
think
aware.
about it on the sled rather than think about it while lying on the floor of a hospital.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I
There's
think it
still a
involves
chance for that because it
Ogata.
is a
I
flashback,
think it
essentially.
involves Ogata as well, which is why it fits into that point of the story.
Yeah, but I mean, like at the start of next season, it could be like, "Damn that Ogata, we almost had him," and then he's kind
Yes.
of thinking to himself, "There's easy ways to slot
Yeah,
it in."
yeah,
I think.
yeah. Don't worry. Damn that Ogata. I thought we had them is very much the theme of the next stuff.
Okay.
There's a reason a certain character is in
Uh,
the opening credits rather than, and he isn't actually in the main series much.
hmm.
So yeah, go back and look at the main credits and see. Oh, there's that guy's in there and there's a reason that guy's in there because we'll be seeing more of him.
Okay, just like a little prelude to
Yeah.
him. Hmm.
Yeah. So I guess wait however long it was again for another season, but I'm trying to think if there's
Hmm.
enough. Is there enough? There's probably enough to do another season, but I wonder whether it's enough to do a satisfactory season because that's the issue. Is they cut a bunch of stuff out, as we just mentioned. I think to try and make a
Yeah.
satisfactory 12 episodes rather than necessarily a specifically one-to-one adaptation.
Yeah, I mean, like how they adapted it. I think I haven't read that point, so maybe I'm missing out on a lot. It sounds like I'm missing out on some cool shit for certain. But I did like the way they kind of like wrap this one up, like because you get a lot of characters. Even I've forgotten his bloody name. The guy with basically no nose talking to
Yeah,
Svetlana,
Tsukushima, I
where
think
basically
is
he gets to yeah, he gets to do his talking to her is kind of like she's like a parallel or a mirror of him in
yeah,
one regard, so he gets to like do something that he couldn't have done, that couldn't have been done for him. Like a lot of characters get that, and I like with the Sugimoto and the Serpa at the end where they're kind of like, hey, I'm renewing our contract kind of thing. It's like a nice thing of like they were, and that's the opening bit where they're kind of going different paths, and it's like it could go very badly if they're going so far away, but now they're kind of like united back up again. That kind of there's a like a satisfactory, not ending, but bow tied onto the end of certain parts of the story, certain plots of the story, and I think that works quite well. Hopefully, like the next season will have enough material to adapt to some sort of satisfactory season,
yeah,
or that in between the stuff that they haven't adapted, but we need to introduce these important characters to the
yes,
story all of a sudden. So hopefully they'll like be able to
yeah,
do that in a season kind of satisfying way,
yeah.
because this season's been great
No,
for
this is
sure.
the best season they've had in terms of everything,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
writing, the animation. Because always before in the previous two seasons, there was always episodes where we've been like, "Oh, I wish it looked better this episode," or "That's a rough looking
yeah,
episode." This one has just been fine, top to bottom. Absolutely a
yeah,
cracking
yeah.
show. Talking of things which look fine, top to bottom, it's JUJUTSU Kaisen episode 13 tomorrow. It's the end of this fight.
Hmm.
That's all it is. It's the end of this fight.
I actually took make the mistake the last day, so I'll correct myself. It wasn't a bunch of curses that were um playing Pop Up Pirate. It was a bunch of these transformed fucking humans playing Pop Up
Yes.
Pirate, which makes this more tragic by comparison.
Well, literally,
So
isn't it just like, isn't it like bits of your kid?
I thought it was specific other children
Ah, okay.
because they did sound like little kids or something. I think that was supposed to be the implication. Also, they were playing Pop Up Pirate earlier in a different episode. So I'm just like, oh God, these are little children. This is bad. That's how I was interpreting it anyway.
Yeah, I can't remember. Obviously, I didn't watch the previous episode, so
Yeah, yeah.
I'm relying on very old memories of reading the comic. Uh, yeah, so it's like, oh, can he bring himself to kill? And Mahito's like, he can't bring himself to kill. And Nanami's like, no, he's in the middle of figuring out that he's going to have to kill people.
Like he's like, haha, I'm fucking making shit hard for him, and he's just like, no, I got faith in this kid, which is just he continues to just be fucking super cool all the
Yes.
time.
And so, yes, it has worked, and they both beat Mahito up some more, but this just gives him the vision that he can now use his expanded domain.
Yeah, he's like, I'm in a lot of trouble right now, but putting my life on the line, putting myself in danger like this, it's inspiring. So,
Uh,
yeah.
and so, yeah, he traps Nanami in that.
And the Nami's like, okay, so his power works by when he touches you with his hand when it's untransformed, but the expanded domain means that their attacks absolutely fucking hit you. So I'm basically already been touched by him, so I'm basically fucking just dead talking. And he's like, "Oh, you scared old man," and he's just kind of like, "No, I got no regrets." And we get a fucking class backstory fucking bit for him, which I was very pleased with. Because I was really worried. It's
Yeah.
like because he talked about his favorite bakery closing, and I was like, "Is she gonna get killed?" That baker who he was like, she makes his favorite sandwiches, and it was just him deciding, as like, I don't want to do the 9 to 5 shit where I don't give a fuck except for making enough money to retire earlier. It's just like that's I want to make a difference kind of thing. And it's just such a minor thing where he's just like, she's got a curse in her, but it's only just gonna make her tired and shit. It's not a bad one. It's not my problem, not my problem. And it's not the Spider-Man thing of if only I'd saved Uncle Ben. And it's just sort of like I made her life better by killing that thing because I'm not fucking living right now. I'm just living to earn enough money to fucking live quietly, and that's not great. So just that spurs him on to just like, hey, I'm giving you a call. I said I called you, and he's like, why the fuck are you laughing on the phone? Where it's just like, he's got a tough old life, but at least he kind of like easily figured out what he wanted to do and why he is going to die in this expanded domain with no regrets, unless someone busts in. But no one would do that. That's a remarkably bad idea.
Uh, yes, and so somebody busts in because it's a remarkably bad idea.
In this case,
Uh,
it's actually an excellent idea,
it
but
is,
most
but
of the
that
time, it's
I
a bad
don't
idea.
think he had that as a plan, though.
No, that was his plan. Was just I'm going to punch my way in there. Was his plan?
Yes, because it's explained. Yeah, so Itadori punches his way in because it's explained that a strong barrier domain.
It's strong to keep someone in. It's not
Yes,
strong to keep people out because why the fuck would you keep people out? Your attacks automatically fucking hit in here. No one would break in there. That would be stupid. Keeping people out is pointless because they come in here, they get their fucking ass kicked. But auto hitting means you're auto touching the soul of
yes.
Tsukina. And Tsukina's like, I fucking warned you, buddy. I said you get the first ones for free, but don't try it a second time.
Because I don't care about anybody apart from my beautiful boy.
That was very funny. He's like, anyone could die except for this precious child. And that just makes me worry for him, honestly. Generally, be kind of thing. I was like, oh, everyone's going to be safe. He's not going to die. I was like, oh, that's bad. You really don't want Sakina's attentions on you.
Yeah, so Sukuna really hurts Mahito, and he starts bleeding out the shoulder, and uses the last of his curse energy to make himself really big. And his story's like, he's really big, don't have to worry about tactics. I just go up and thump him.
Hmm.
But that just bursts him, and a deflated Mahito slips down the drain.
Not before thanking them. It was like,
Yes,
thanks, I had a great time. Bye.
I'll come play again.
Hmm.
Um, and they go to chase after him, but then Itadori falls from his wounds.
Hmm.
And they have a bit of a conversation. I'm not going to tell you. He's like, I can't. I'm not going to tell you off because you saved my life.
Yeah, that would be pretty fucking shitty of me to do that. But he's trying to talk to him. Is like, yeah, like I know what you want to do is give people like a peaceful or a like a right death, but like it's you haven't figured out what that is and what that means to you, and that's gonna be very difficult for you to do, dude. There's some things just out of your fucking control, which is something he's learned to accept in life, but obviously Itadori has not.
Yeah, and Mahito's like wondering how he can hurt Itadori's soul next. He doesn't want to hurt him physically; he just wants to hurt his soul.
I really want to kill him, but I can keep killing his soul again and again and again.
And it kind of ends on this is the end of season, but then we're going straight back with the.
It's the end of the arc, I suppose.
Yes,
yeah.
But it felt like an ending as opposed to what most
Yes.
the thing which ran me off from the series is the way the episodes don't feel like a proper ending of an episode.
Yeah. Like if you watched a bunch of these, this would be a great fucking point to stop for the evening because just go like, wow, that was fucking good, and then whenever they're done all of them, you can watch the whole inter-school fight thing, which is coming up next.
Yeah, but I don't think I will. There's plenty of other things
Fair enough.
on the table, but I thought I'd check in as there was so little to watch this week.
Fair enough. I did enjoy this episode. I liked the extra bit with your man's backstory as to why he went back to being a Jujutsu sorcerer. The animation is just still fucking gorgeous, so that's nice. But
you get a recipe after the end credits.
Like a recipe that's like, here's the jokey thing where they're making the stew, and they still manage to put a little bit of tragedy into it, but it's actually not tragic because he's fine. It's like,
yes,
man,
yeah,
this is a good recipe.
they're like, oh,
and,
yes.
and it's like, yeah, Itadori taught me how to do that.
Friend.
They're all like, and yeah, they're also eating the it's meatballs, isn't it? The recipe isn't for the stew; it's for the meatballs. Yeah. I think.
Then we got With a Dog and a Cat. Every day is fun. Episode 13. The first half is the owner helping out at
an animal shelter.
Animal shelter. That's it. She's always wanted to help with the dogs, but everyone else is quicker than her to help with the dogs.
I don't know why she's rushing to pick up the shit. Honestly, that seems like unnecessary, but least important part.
But there's a cat upstairs that needs attending to. And
she's like, oh, I know how to handle cats. Yeah, they're real tough customers.
My disruptive cat. And then the cat is just absolutely adoring and loving and wants attention. And she's like, they exist. I thought they were just an urban myth.
Yeah, I think it's just your cat that is kind of a dick. He's not actually a dick, but he acts like one, basically.
And then there's a super brief sketch where she's reading that blinking slowly is how cats tell you they love you, so she can finally talk to her cat and tell him how much she loves him, and she does it, and then the cat just turns around and shows his arse to her, which I believe is also a sign of love, but she may not have got to that.
Yeah. I think it's basically like you're like if you put your back to someone, then that means you trust them, and the same with cats blinking slowly because they trust you enough to not fucking like bonk them while they have their eyes closed for a longer amount of time. It's them being absolutely relaxed in your presence, and it's like no, it's showing its arse is actually a good thing, not what you want to see when you open your eyes, but okay.
And then the remaining part is her taking photos of the cat.
But because it's trying to scratch its back and being cute, and it's like it's not coming across in photos, so it's like I'll take video instead. But there's like a creepy old lady voice talking in the videos. What the hell? It's like, yeah.
Yes, it's her voice, dear viewer.
Yeah.
We'll explain the joke.
Yeah, it's good. Like again, I feel like I'm enjoying pet ownership through this cartoon because I don't have any pets at the moment. With the apartment and everything, I just can't have them. But yeah, it's nice. Pets are fucking great, even when they're dicks. They enrich life. Like every day is fun.
Yeah, and then we got new ending music.
Which I was like, oh, is this going to end off? It's like, no, this is continuing because it has a new ending thing.
Yes. Then finally, Dragon Quest: The Adventure of Dai, Episode 13, The Deciding Moment. So yeah, their attack didn't work. Well, it worked, but it wasn't enough.
It worked, but he's got a lot of HP.
So then he
Like,
uses what's his ultimate move? Hyunkel's ultimate move.
it's like, so okay, it's like bloody, bloody stab, bloody I don't know. It's like a big fucking spear that he's gonna stab you with.
Yeah, he basically uses
But
one
his
spell to
second ultimate
hold
move is
you.
the one where he holds you in
Yeah,
place with the
and then he
like,
stabs you.
yeah.
And he does that to Dai, and he thinks he's beating Dai, but Dai just like bent back a bit as it was hitting him, so it didn't hit his heart.
Also, he's getting like obsessed in his head where it's like, okay, swords and magic doesn't work. So neither swords nor magic, nor swords nor magic. So he wakes up in like a battle fury, and I like the
Yes.
way Papa explains like sometimes martial arts get knocked out, but they keep on
Yeah,
fucking
it's not so
fighting
much
on
battle
pure
fury,
instinct.
it's just continuing to fight while concussed, I think, because it's not like he's angry. It's just he's
Yeah, he's facing like
yeah,
he's got a slight furrow of the brow, but there's like nothing in the eyes, kind of
yeah,
thing. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. I'm familiar with it from watching professional wrestling. It's like people who can complete a match despite having been knocked out. Uh, yeah,
Gotta
so
finish the part. Mm.
yes. While this is happening, also Mom shows up with a shell, a soul shell, which has a message from her uncle's dad.
And he's like, "That's impossible. I was there when my dad died." It's like, and he recognized it instantly. Oh, that's a soul shell that your soul like writes a message into when you die. Apparently, that's a spell or something. Um. So, and as soon as he's like, "Okay, fucking, I'll take off the helmet. I'll fucking listen to what it is my dad's saying because I will assume that this is all entirely true." And it was a very long, complicated message that he couldn't get across as he was dying. So it's fortunate he knew the spell for putting his last message in a shell.
Yes. Which was that it wasn't the hero who killed him. It was Haldar, the
I did like that
swine.
because it's like, he fights him, he knocks all six of his swords out of his hand. And he's like, "I'm not going to kill you though." It's like, why not? Because you have that little star that was obviously made by a little kid. Look at the poor workmanship. So obviously, if a little kid made that for you, you can't be all fucking bad. And so yeah, even he says it's like, okay, but when you beat Haldar, right, that I'm gonna die automatically. So would you like raise my kid, like just get him so he's cool? And he was like, oh yeah, absolutely, no bother, like. And so he automatically goes like, all right, I'll let you through the gate or anything. I'm not gonna stop you anymore. I think we're cool here. But Haldar was resurrected by the Dark King, and he's like, "Oh, there's a guy higher up than you." Okay, and he's like, "Fuck! I came down here just to kick your ass before I go back and heal
Before I
for
go to bed for
16
13
years,
years.
13 years.
Yeah.
Sorry." So when he found his dad as an exploded skeleton, it was because your man fucking exploded him.
But then he's like, "Oh, that's terrible, but I am the Lord. I'm the Lord of the Undead Legion now, so I've got to carry on fighting this kid." And the kid's like, "Okay, well, swords, magic. I know. I'll make my sword magic. That's not the thing which can be done when it is now."
Yeah, he cast like frizz or something like that, I think, on his sword. Your man's like, "Wait, you can't fucking have a magic sword. That's bullshit." It cuts like a big slash into his super armor. Um, but he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna get you on another grab you and stab you, my
Yeah.
classic fucking two combo." And Pop points out, is like, "Hey, pull down the lightning into your sword and shoot him with lightning." And he's like, "Oh yeah, that's a good idea." So he does that with an Avon Strash, but like a lightning
Yes.
Strash,
And
basically.
that completely destroys the armor. And then he's gonna just murder him until Marv tells him to stop.
No, no, I like we're disciples of fucking Avon. We shouldn't be
Yes.
murdering each other. He should be cool now. He should be on side.
Yeah.
That kind of, you defeated your enemy, therefore he's going to be your friend. But unfortunately, Blaze. I forget
Oh,
which comes
I
first.
should find his name because he's a great character. And the bit later on when he goes back
Mm.
and tells everybody what happened, and none
And
of them.
everyone knows exactly what the fuck
I
happened.
know,
It's very
it's
good.
so
Yeah,
everyone's got a different version of their eye rolls. Like, get a
yeah,
load of
yeah.
this guy.
Ah,
Uh,
Blaze, Frizz. I can't remember which comes first. Half ice, half fire,
he's
man.
half ice, half fire. Yes. He's no good. Flazard.
Flazard. Okay, like Flame Blizzard. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
He shows up and is like, "Oh, this is fucking it. Because if you beat them, I was gonna kill you and say you died in the fight. But if you didn't beat them, you look like an asshole, and I was gonna kill you anyway. So it's just like, this works out cool. Volcano, fucking peace out. I'll see you guys later."
I'll just say that you all died fighting each other, and then an extinct volcano appeared.
And I was kind of thinking, it's just like, isn't that going to make you look massively suspect?
And it
But he kind of
does.
heads back and is like, I guess there was a volcano there or something. And even like the boss is kind of like, oh, you son of a bitch. I didn't like that guy anyway, so I'm glad you killed him. Which is just very funny. And the dragon dude is like, the fucking audacity of this fucking guy. The wizard guy sneering because it's like, I said, that's very funny actually.
But what he doesn't know is that the hero did not die because her uncle took
He summoned the
croc.
strength of Crocodine.
Yes.
And he apologized to Crocodine. He's like, I get it now why you think these guys are cool, because they are. The lava surrounded them. He picked the giant rock that they were on and like Terminatored standing in it and just
Yes.
fucking threw them on the rock away. And he nearly got to do like the thumbs up into lava fucking shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, he goes out like a boss basically, I guess.
Though I guess it was prior to the thumbs up in love. I
Yeah,
think. Yeah.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think the hand in the lava is definitely from the original Terminator. But yes, the constant cutback to him waving to them in the lava was great.
Yeah, yeah. He definitely goes down pretty slow into that lava.
Yes, and you know what? I'm going to suspect that he's probably going to somehow have survived that.
How? I mean, magic obviously is
Magic,
a
yes.
pretty easy
Yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah. Healing spells.
But I mean, like even the Undead Legion, where your man's ringing his little bell, is like, well, I guess I can just ring my bell so you can find the afterlife. That's all I can do now is lava fucking consumes my undead body. Yeah, a pretty good one.
Yeah,
Even I don't
there's
even mind the Deus Ex Machina, or sorry, Shell Ex Machina of the fucking. It's like, oh, here was your dad's actual last wishes, because obviously he's really upset. It's like, wait, so he knew that I thought he killed my dad, but he fucking taught me how to fight anyway. I'm still gonna fight you. Die.
yeah. I love yeah the CG fight is pretty good. I don't.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
assuming it was similar people who worked on the Broly fight because that's really. I guess that's probably really what a lot of this show reminds me of is the
I mean,
Broly.
that's a good thing to remind you of,
Oh, for
sure.
sure, yes.
There was some even like besides like the good camera work and everything that they can do with the 3D, there was some really nice stuff where like your uncle kind of like reverses his grip on the sword to do a different thing, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's fucking nice. The only bit I didn't like is where there's this cool bit of fucking animation, then it cuts the pop, entirely static except for his mouth. They're using this technique and blah 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 blah. I was like, shut the fuck up, cut back to the fight. I don't want to see this guy. But yeah, that's my only complaint was when it wasn't that basically.
Yeah. So yeah, Flazard next,
Hmm.
which is good because he seems like a massive jerk.
He's very powerful and he's very cheap and an asshole.
This
So,
guy, I do not expect to have a babyface turn
no, no.
because he's
Maybe
basically
he has some
yeah.
fucking tragic reason for being fire and ice, though. You don't know.
I don't. Well, I just went to the the Wikipedia to look his name up, and I can say I do know that he does not have a tragic background.
Okay. Just a dick then.
Yes.
Right.
He was created by Hadlar using forbidden magic.
Mm.
So that's probably he's just a pure, straight up elemental asshole.
Mm.
But yeah, that bit in the throne room where everyone's got their all different reactions, I think was the highlight for me.
Everyone knows for sure that he caused the volcano, but they're
Yeah.
all kind of, if not fine with it, just
Yeah.
they're not going to say nothing.
Oh, what's the human guys? He's got somebody so desperate for validation or something is how he judges him or something like that.
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah, the little conniving guy Zabora is just giggling.
Because he thinks it's a very funny joke, which it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and Hadler just going.
Adler kind of smiling, is like, you son of a bitch, flat out, you done it again. Dear.
Though obviously this is greatly decreasing their generals.
Yeah, I mean, like it's a big hit to the army to lose the entire undead legion, but we didn't like Hyungil, so
And also you've also lost a chunk of your animal beastmen legion because they're loyal to Crocodile.
hmm. I think he said a bunch of them are loyal to Headlar, so I guess
Yeah,
they're not the
it's
worst
not
off. But yeah,
100%, but yeah, there is a
hmm.
like apparently the eagles love Crocodile.
Eagles are cool. Yeah, yeah.
And that's it. That's all there is this week. Except I did watch 4 episodes of something which has just showed up, I think, on
Oh,
which might be something to talk. Oh, did you watch Vlad Love?
I fucking forgot. Would you fucking believe? With the lack of things to watch, I still forgot.
I watched 4 episodes of sorry, suddenly Egyptian God. But if you want to check that out, we can talk about that next week because there's probably even less things to watch next week.
Will do.
They're shorts. It's on Crunchyroll, and it's
Okay.
about Egyptian gods getting up to Egyptian god stuff, but in sort of a comedic manner.
Hmm.
Your main characters are who are they? They're Anubis, Thoth, and that one we know nothing about except they're called the Smiter, who were a popular meme in Japan a few years back. Just looked like a man with a cloth over his head.
Right.
Gebed, I think.
Yeah, yeah. I think I know the
Um,
one you're talking about, but I can't remember the name.
but other ones show up as the episodes go along.
All kinds of animal-headed shenanigans.
Yes.
Hmm.
But I do like how Thoth is like portrayed as a know-it-all, being the god of knowledge. Uh, and of course, yeah, that's the thing because I was thinking about it as I was watching the pizza episode because
Hmm.
when they're discussing about how things have changed names in Japan over recent years. About
Oh, like it's not.
yes,
It used to be we call it spaghetti, but now everyone calls it pasta. That kind of thing. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and they're talking and it's called pizza. It's called pizza, not pizza. And they're like, nobody calls it. Anyway, there's a joke in that Egyptian thing related to that, but the other way round, where
Right, right.
Thoth is telling people it's called pizza because Thoth is so knowledgeable, he knows the correct way to pronounce foreign words. It's not pizza, it's pizza.
Oh dear.
Uh, anyway, it was a lot of fun. It's nice shorts. I think it's CG mainly, but
Hmm.
nice design. It hits the sweet spot for me of is it well written, is it well animated? Because it's a short,
Yeah.
you've really got
And
no
shorts can do
excuse.
better with jokes because they don't need to hit a time frame.
Yeah,
I hate as tight a time frame, like to really spread it out.
I don't think there's anything new for us next week.
Hmm.
I will just have a quick old check in case there's anything starting excessively early. Uh, we will look at winter 2021.
Oh, I thought there was Conan, but that's the week after, isn't it?
That'll be the January the 9th. So that will be not next week's episode, but the following week's episode.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's take a butcher's. No, Attack on Titan. That would have been the thing, but we'd have already been talking about that.
Yeah.
Skate Leading Stars. Episodes released on Funimation and related services 2 weeks before Japan. The story follows high schooler Kensai Mishima, who is swept back into the world of skating when his rival Ryo Shinozaki announces he will be competing in the team of skate leading.
Wait, is this like
In the
ice
team,
skating or like inline skating or roller
uh,
skating?
it looks like ice skating.
Ah,
I
could be
don't know what
fun.
skate leading is. Is this a real sport that I'm unaware of, or is it a made-up sport? Possibly a made-up sport. As when I search for skate leading, it just leads me to things related to this anime.
Hmm.
Okay. Directed by the director of Code Geass, of all things. There we go. And other things I do actually want to watch. He's chief director. Maybe I'll watch it. Maybe I'll watch it.
You have time.
I do have time. I think I'm probably more likely to like the skateboarding anime.
See, that's why I was hoping for like a thing between skateboarding and skates. Like,
Skate the Infinity.
hmm.
Otherwise, we'll be back here next week, and I shall have to go and edit these two videos together into one glorious whole. Um, I don't know what day. I'm going to guess Tuesday, but who knows? We'll have to check with Niall.
Let's pencil it in for Tuesday for now. Yeah.
Yeah. Righty-ho. I hope you have a happy new year.
Hmm.
And if you're listening to this on the RSS feed, I hope you had a happy new year.
Yeah.
Or at least as happy of one as you can have in the reasonable circumstances.
Everyone's gonna probably be locked up again, but that's okay. Don't assume all the problems will be over just because the clock is fucking ticked over. Uh, it, it this year
Yeah.
has pointed out a lot of problems that need a
I was going to say,
fixing.
in my country, I would expect more problems.
Yes, probably. So
I don't
just
know why you would think it was going to get easier come
some
January the
people think it's just
1st.
like, oh, it's going to go to 2021. That means all the problems will be fixed. And it's like, no. Now that we know, or at least know roughly what a lot of the problems might be or are, now we can fight them better, basically, is what we got, which isn't great. Maybe.
Maybe. Anyway,
Britain
we'll
Britain
still
will
be
rethink
here.
it once Scotland and Northern Ireland leave the Union. I think that'll be the first start. And then Wales will be kind of looking left and right. And it's just like, uh,
Righty-ho. We'll be back here next week. Goodbye.
bye.
Right, let's end that stream. Let me go.